Hello, my name is Nirmala Bania and I will be starting our presentation today. We will be discussing on how Gap can create a competitive advantage through Shift. I'm here with my team members Grace, Dylan, and Nicholas. Together, we will share our ideas on how Shift can help Gap overcome these challenges and become more successful. Gap is well known company with brands like Gap, Old Navy, and Banana Republic. While Gap has a strong presence in the retail world, the company is facing challenges with managing its workforce. Specifically, the numbers of employees using a Shift app has dropped, which has led to fewer workers and issues with staffing, making it harder for stores to run smoothly. We believe that if Gap can better use Shift, it can improve employees' engagement, make scheduling easier, and create a more effective workforce. This will help the company increase productivity and improve overall performance. I will be talking about the goals in this slide. Gap is failing to perform through Shift. Gap numbers of employees has drastically dropped who use Shift. Our goal is to find a solution that helps both Gap and the employees. We want to make sure the employees are more engaged with Shift app so Gap have the right numbers of workers to improve its performance. Our main goal is to find a solution that will benefit both Gap and the employees. Now let's talk about the Gap's generic strategy. Gap uses a broad differential strategy to reach a wide range of customers. Gap has brands like Old Navy and Banana Republic that focus on different markets and serve their own markets. Old Navy offers affordable clothing while Banana Republic focuses on more professional and stylish clothing. Gap provides fashion while showing their brand's awareness through their design.
My name is Dylan, and I'm going to be going over the internal strengths of Gap. We said that Gap's biggest strength is its strong brand awareness. This allows customers to recognize and trust their name, which gives Gap a major edge in the retail industry. Gap is also diversified across several brands, including Old Navy, Banana Republic, and Athleta. This allows them to appeal to different customer segments. Um, Gap also has cost advantages over its rivals, which allows them to stay competitive with its pricing. And also, in terms of operations, their global distribution capabilities are a key asset, allowing them to maintain a broad market presence. And the final strength that we put was the use of the Shift app. Obviously, it's not fixed yet, but once it's done, it's going to be able to increase workforce and flexibility. Now, moving on to the next slide, the internal weaknesses for Gap. Obviously, one of the weaknesses on here is the one that we're trying to fix, and that's what the whole project is about. And that weakness is the lack of shift workers. This issue is causing staffing gaps and operational delays, which is not good for efficiency and is why Gap is trying to fix this. Another weakness is the closing of physical locations. This is leading to reduced in person sales and brand visibility. Another issue is that Gap is spending a lot of time and resources trying to get a solution for their Shift app to get workers engaged. And the last weakness that we put is that several of Gap's brands, such as Old Navy, Athleta, and Banana Republic, serve in the same market, and this is leading to overlap and internal competition.
Gap's internal factors other strengths is that Gap is known globally. They own well-known brands like Gap, Old Navy, Athletica, Banana Republic, and have baby and kids apparel. By having a wide range of fashion options, they target many different customer price ranges. Gap is known to be more affordable and good quality. Old Navy is known to be budget-friendly. Athletica reaches people who wants to work out and wear athletic wear, and Banana Republic reaches the customers who are more willing to pay a higher price for the better quality. Gap does have opportunity to grow. They can implement newer fashion trends to draw in new or existing customers by adding new items that will increase their foot traffic. They already have established markets, but they could expand it to get their image pushed out farther. Now, with the rise of people who prefer online shopping, Gap will have to compete with that. They can improve their online shopping platforms to make it easier for the customers to use. Another opportunity is that Gap can reach out to ambassadors or influencers. It will expand the amount of people in the younger crowd who will see Gap clothing on their role models. Seeing cute clothing worn by influencers can encourage who is watching it to buy it. The last opportunity is to increase the employees who use the Shift app. By encouraging their employees to use the app, it will greatly benefit the company. We recommended using a reward system, which will be a motivator to the employees to improve their engagement with the app, reduce uncovered and understaffed shift, and give flexibility to their employees by having this kind of platform to connect, meet goals, stay updated, see their schedules, swap, or even pick up shifts. Now on to the threats. Gap is facing big competitors like Amazon and FedEx and other retail stores since there's a rise in competition in fashion and preferences are always changing. They can struggle with employees since places like Amazon and FedEx do pay a higher wage. Customers will shop out of convenience, and today more people do rather have the clothes arrived at the doorstep just because it's out of convenience. Since fashion trends are always changing, retailers have to compete with the fast fashion, which causes strain on their inventory to keep it perfect and keep up with it. I have seen more people and influencers talk about the online sites to order clothes from and items like Shein and Temu, which is lower quality and cheap items, but everyone is talking about it, which then makes other people online want to buy from them. To find the information on their financials over the past 3 years, I found data on Stock Analyst, which is linked in the top of this PowerPoint. I noticed that the return on assets had dropped to negative 33%, which is a 4.7% change from the previous year. This drop could indicate that there could have been operational challenges making Gap not able to cover their expenses. In the next 2 years, that percentage did steady out and increase, which is now at 6.8%. The return on equity shows the same trend, that in 2023 it dropped and then had a steady increase the next 2 years. To find Gap's market shares, I found each year's total revenue and divided it by the total revenue of the retail industry. First, to find this, I looked up what Gap's NICS code was, which is 458110, and then found a table that shows the total industry revenue each year. In 2022, it says Gap's revenue was $16.6 billion. 2023, it was $15.6 billion. 2024, it was $14.9 billion. In 2025, it's $15 billion. The industry revenue in 2022 was $566.2 billion. 2023, the revenue of the industry was $592.2 billion. 2024, it was $703.2 billion. And in 2025, it was $737.9 billion. This shows that Gap is fighting against competitors and is staying average each year. 2025 does seem like it was the lowest it has been, and it might be struggling to keep up their revenue against the industry, but they can compete against them. To find Gap's debt ratio, the first link also gave me these numbers. I found their total liabilities and their total assets through that link. In 2022, their total liabilities was $10 billion, assets $12.8 billion. 2023 liabilities were $9.1 billion and assets were $11.3 billion. 2024 the liabilities were $8.5 billion, assets $11 billion, and in 2025 liabilities were $8.6 billion and assets $11.9 billion. This shows that Gap relies more on debt than equity, which is a financial risk, but not all debt is bad. Overall, Gap's concern is the lack of employees who are using the Shift app, which is the problem that we are trying to solve by having the reward system in place. Next, Gap sales are decreasing each year, which we saw in the financials in the last slide. Gap is also concerned about the changes from online platforms times and the effect that it might have on staying relevant, it is harder to be online rather than have customers come into the store and engage with it, making it fun. A fun experience for the employee and the customer. You just can't have the same feeling that you do online. I have seen a lot of locations that are closing, but it was to compensate with the low foot traffic that are in malls, and so that Gap can focus more on the online platform to cut costs. The last concern is that they are having to fight against its competitors and rely on the sales from their other brands. The strongest weakness that Gap is experiencing is that their employees are not willing to use the Shift app. There has been a huge decrease from employee engagement with it. The amount of employees who stopped using the app plummeted from about 800 down to just around 100 in a very short amount of time. The strongest threat is their competitors, not only with the customers, but also their employees who quit and work for the competitors for higher pay. Gap needs to retain their customers and their employees.
So one thing that we kind of noticed throughout the whole um, SWOT analysis and everything else that we did in this project, that Gap needs to offer maybe some more pay and some more incentives just to standardize their program and keep up with all the competition. So some problems that we obviously have seen is competition level, and competition level is a huge problem within the workforce. It's a reason why a lot of these shift workers, I find, probably aren't coming either to their shifts or finding different alternatives. And that's just because places like Amazon and FedEx are companies that they do have a large brand awareness, and many people know these companies. And these companies offer either incentives, and they also have a large pay increase. So something like Amazon pays somewhere between 18 to 25, and FedEx pays somewhere between 15 and 25. And these places also offer these same flex hours, which a lot of Gap employees that were full time, as mentioned, kind of switched over to this flexible option and lost their benefits just because that they found that the flexibility was so important. But one problem with this, and it's a strength of Gap's, but also it's a strength of Amazon's and FedEx too, and that can really hurt them. Gap offers 13, 15 hours, so they're close to the same amount of pay. But one solution that we came up with was actually through Chick-fil-A and McDonald's rewards apps. We found that a lot of people kind of went to these places, and it helped them by offering different tiers and kind of help them just want that food more, just because they're thinking, okay, if I go here one more time, I get this reward. So what we did was actually do a system based on work, and if you work a certain amount of times, then you get these rewards. So one thing that we had was we split it up into coal, iron, gold, diamond, or emerald. And so coal is actually your first shift worked. This is your standard pay, which was $13.50. You also get the discount, which we decided we should do after the first 2 weeks you work there. You should get the discount because we don't want people just getting on and then getting right back off just because they just want the discount. And it was a 50% off discount. It was offered by Gap, and that's a great discount. Um, and there was a great incentive, but we thought that we could do more with some incentives. So we decided that we're going to go with the iron tier, and that's going to be the second tier. The time can kind of be fluctuated with these. It doesn't have to be 25, 75, 150, 200, but we just decided that these sounded like a right amount of time, just to kind of increase over time, and just that you can get rewards and incentives based on your time and your reputation within the company. One additional thing that we kind of considered was if you want to do time and also attendance, that way these people aren't canceling on you. Maybe you do 25 shifts and 95% attendance, or 95% attendance down the whole way, just to keep these incentives. And so for iron, we said 25 shifts worked. We said you'd get the same pay, you'd still get $13.50. But we also said you should get some kind of small reward, whether it's $50 cash, or whether it's $50 on a Gap or Old Navy just gift card, just something like that, where it's something small. We also said that these people needed to be rewarded for working their 25 shifts, and we decided that the bronze tier or the coal tier, whichever one you'd like to call it, we actually decided that these people in iron should get priority scheduling over these people within the coal. We also said for gold, we decided that 75 shifts sounded about right. You've been there for the company for a while now. We just decided to raise your pay up to 15 an hour. We also decided to give a loyalty bonus similar to how we did before. We said this could be a $100 gift card to Gap, or it could be $75 cash, whatever the reward needs to be, whatever seems fair to both the employee and to the employers. We also said that these people needed priority scheduling above the other two. Diamond, we decided, was our 150 shifts worked, and we said that this was the same pay as your gold members, but also that we wanted to implement a referral bonus. It was mentioned in the Q&A that there was no referral bonus yet, and we decided that to match up with companies like Amazon, that this was the best thing to do, just so maybe after each time that someone they referred worked 5-10 shifts, you get that $20 if you're the person that referred. After this was our final tier, and it was Emerald tier. This was 200 shifts worked, and we raised it to $18 an hour, which we felt was about right. And maybe you want to lower that down some, $16 or $17, but we felt the 18 felt like a fair price, considering that they've worked the most shifts out of any of these people. Also, it has a high referral bonus, and maybe we can do $30 or $40, but we suggested $50 each time that maybe this worker refers someone and they work. Maybe it's if they get up to the iron shift, the person that was referred, then the person that was an emerald shift gets $50 each time. So they also have the highest priority in scheduling as well. So with this comes some benefits and cost. So we felt like the benefits well exceeded the cost. So we said that this would engage the members and actually increase the number of shift users, because these people have something to look forward to. They go into work and maybe they have 23 times that they've worked, and they're really kind of dragging through that day, but they realize if they work 2 more shifts, then at the same time they can get that next upgrade, and then they'd be in that iron tier. Um, just kind of having goals like that, and I learned this from using the Chick-fil-A app. It just kind of makes you more engaged with that company and makes you want to kind of benefit from that. Um, then we also said, again, if we include that attendance policy, that our reliability on how often workers would come in would obviously raise. Our cost to this would be that you do have to pay, and you do have to give either pay or credit to more employees just to kind of adopt this method. But at the same time, that was something that looked like it might have to happen either way. Adopting referrals, as mentioned, for the final 2 levels, you want your referrals and people referring to be those within the company that are strong and that are honest workers and good workers. So that's why we decided to go with those bottom 2 tiers. We also said that you'll also have some additional background checks just because there's new people joining the app. So our idea as a whole was actually established through Chick-fil-A and McDonald's, that these 2 reward systems are just so strong within the fast food industry that we thought, how can we adapt this to Gap, and how can we make this work out for them? So it includes some incentives and also some pay increase. And it just helps people kind of have that goal and kind of establish them and try to make them reach that next level. So our goal in total was just to increase the number of individuals that work through shift. And we did this by just creating tiers that each one of these workers will try to find something, and that they'll try just to develop these skills and try to reach that next goal. So we decided that this was the best method for that.